Direct challenge. When did you last test with a SQL injection string in a name field? Or a 65-character password? Or a Chinese name? Claude generates all of it in one prompt. Let me show you. And if you ever get stuck on a testing challenge, my email is in the description, or drop the question in the comments. Happy to help. You already know how to test a login form with john@test.com and password 1. So does every other tester. And so does every developer who wrote the code. The bugs that make it to production aren't found by safe, familiar data. They're found by data that nobody thought to test with. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Claude to generate realistic, edge case-rich test data for any form or feature, in any format you need, in under a minute. Here's what we're covering. First, we'll look at why reusing the same test records is one of the most common ways bugs slip through to production. Then I'll show you how to generate realistic user profiles with international names, varied formats, and unusual but valid inputs. We'll build a full set of valid, invalid, boundary, and edge case data, and I'll explain what each type is testing for. Then we'll look at how to get that data back in any format your app or test tool needs. And finally, we'll put it all together with a complete data set for a registration form. Let me show you the gap between how we test and how real users behave. You test with John Smith. Real users have names like Jose Maria O'Brien, or John Wei, or Nguyen Van A, all valid names, all potentially broken by a form that was only tested with ASCII characters. You test with a simple password. Real users hit exactly the minimum or maximum length or paste in a password from a manager that includes special characters the developer didn't expect. You test with one phone number format. Real users enter numbers in a dozen different formats, all correct, all handled differently by the backend. Claude generates all of these scenarios automatically. You just need to ask. Here's the prompt. Role, Senior QA Tester with expertise in test data design. Context, we describe the form, the shopmate registration form, and each of its fields. Task, generate 10 records covering all 4 data types. Format, CSV with a type column. Look at what comes back. John Smith, valid clean record. Jose O'Brien, valid but with international characters. Zhang Wei, valid Chinese name, edge case. Empty name field with a valid email, invalid. Not an email, invalid email format. A as a name, boundary case, testing the minimum. A name that exceeds the maximum length, boundary. And then the one developers hate seeing in their logs, the SQL injection string. Claude generates all of this in one go. Copy it into your test tool and you're done. Let's talk through the 4 types, because understanding what each one is for makes you a better tester, not just when using Claude, but always. Valid data confirms the system works correctly when everything is right. Invalid data checks that the system rejects bad input gracefully with the right error messages. Boundary data tests the limits, exactly at the minimum, exactly at the maximum, and one step either side. These are the values that break the most code, because developers write conditions like greater than 8 when they mean greater than or equal to 8. And edge cases are the unusual but technically valid inputs that nobody thought to test. Unicode characters, injection strings, email addresses with plus signs. Every serious bug I found in a registration form came from one of these 4 categories. One of the most practical things about using Claude for test data is the format flexibility. If you're testing manually and want to copy data into a form row by row, ask for a CSV. You can open it in Excel or Google Sheets instantly. If you're building a Postman collection or writing automated tests, ask for JSON. Claude will structure it with the right field names. If you need to seed a test database before a testing session, ask for SQL insert statements, ready to run directly. And if you want to paste the dataset into a Jira ticket, a Confluence page, or a Notion doc, ask for a markdown table. Same data, 4 different formats, 1 follow-up prompt. Let's wrap up. Today you saw why test data quality is the difference between finding bugs before production and finding them after. We built a complete data prompt using the RCTF framework, covered all 4 data types, and got the output in 4 different formats. The dataset we built today for the shopmate registration form would have taken 20 to 30 minutes to put together manually. Claude did it in seconds. In video 8, we moved to test planning. How to use Claude to build a structured test plan from a feature spec, prioritize what to test first, and identify risk areas before the sprint even starts. Subscribe so you don't miss it.